Get off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Spreaker, Streaker, and many more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. Because I want to balance out all the bad news out there. And there's so much bad news every once in a while. I can't help but overhear walk somewhere and someone's got the TV on, or someone's talking in line as we're purchasing something, and it's pretty much, you can guarantee it's not people saying, I'm so grateful for this, or I'm so happy about this. Do that test. It's gnarly out there. Mad at this, mad at that, unhappy with this, depressed about that, concerned about that, afraid about that. And y'all, you know what? If you want to choose that, that's cool. But if you want to be happy, 88% of the time you're tuned in here. And I'm so, so grateful that we are today. I love Mondays. Monday. Partially because it sets the counter how many consecutive weeks I've been on the air, on camera. We're now 655, which is a great number. I love synchronous numbers. And yeah, 655 consecutive weeks on the air. This is podcast show number 1271. And for that, I am truly grateful. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that we're about to have breakfast together. So those of you who know the drill, I didn't get my story up there in time, but I'll try to do that with multitasking while I'm broadcasting. But y'all know we start every show for the last couple of years, maybe going on 3 now, with taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. Now, what does that mean? We're going to start this day with me talking about things we're grateful for. And it is one of my favorite months of the year. It's the Giving Thanks month. So top of the bun is things that you're grateful for. I'm helping you practice this. And then the bottom of the bun is things that you're grateful for inside of yourself. So outside of yourself on top, bottom is inside of yourself, also known as appreciation. What do you like about yourself? Ready? All right, here we go. I am grateful that those who said a show about hope and happiness, no gossip, no scandal, no K words, no Kanye talk, formerly or now, would not last, because if it bleeds, it leads. And that's how you get sponsors, and that's how you get advertisers. And if you would love to, oh, thank you for that finger. Somebody just gave me finger, not that finger, but this finger. I would love to have you as a sponsor. I promote you as a guest if you'd like, or your product and service, as long as I can try it out first. And I just love being able to balance out bad news with good news. All right. So I'm grateful that those who said it wouldn't last more than a year were wrong. We're at 12 and a half years, 12.8 years. I am grateful that the sun is shining outside. The sun is shining somewhere. So if it's not shining where you are, just know that it's shining somewhere. I'm so grateful that the planets didn't crash into each other last night, that we are here ready to live another day, to live, laugh, love, learn. I'm grateful that we don't control the planetary actions, that there's something out there that's bigger and more loving than we can be, really unconditional loving and unconditional creating that we can plug into. I am grateful that I'm having fun dating now. I'm having fun swiping. I came up with a new system called the SSBS, Successful Swiping Balanced System. And I actually started communicating that. I'm grateful for my first time doing stand-up. So I'll go to the bottom of the bun for that. Bottom of the bun reminder is things that you are grateful for inside of yourself. I want you to work that muscle, because a lot of us look for love and approval in all the wrong places, looking for likes, literally on social media, and you don't really have a good sense of how great you are. So that's what the bottom of the bun is. So what do you like about yourself? I appreciate that I was talking to my girlfriend Emery yesterday, and she's like, God, you are just like, you live life out to the fullest. And I do, and I receive, and I appreciate, and I don't do it for anybody but me. So I had this idea that I would like to try stand up, probably less than a year ago. The thought just popped in my head. And so I didn't. I sort of looked it up, but my schedule with 8 jobs is not exactly conducive to trying new things. But I just happened to, what are the chances of that? Swiped on a guy who was doing stand-up, had a meeting in Beverly Hills, had some time between that and a swiper date. So I had met someone not accidentally at a gig I did for veterans in Beverly Hills. She was a stand-up comedian. She told me about these sessions at the Hollywood Comedy. Next thing I know, I'm on stage, and it was brilliant. It was scary, a little bit, not that scary, but scary. But there were 4 people there, and they all laughed, which is good. That's 100%. But I appreciate my ability to just grab life by the cones and squeeze them and juice my life. Sorry, I never used both of those analogies at the same time. That could hurt. But you know what I'm getting at. I appreciate that about myself. I appreciate that I'm not afraid to look stupid. And that's a huge thing, because it gives me that middle name of no fear. And when I do look stupid, it is like, well, 12% of the time I'm going to step in it. 88% of the time I'm fabulous. That's my formula for living out life happily and successfully. Let's see. One more thing. I appreciate my ability to focus and choose best feeling thoughts, which is a tool today we're going to use. Those of you who've just tuned in and didn't know, Mondays is not rainy days, and Mondays always get me up, not down. Hashtag UP, unlimited possibilities. That's what this show's about. And Mondays in particular, we focus on mental health matters, because it does matter. And so every Monday, if you tune in here, you're going to hear some tips, happy 88 tips on how to be responsible, act on your own behalf, and choose happiness for yourself. And the subtopic today is, why can't we just get along? And we're going to look at conspiracy theory. There's a lot of it around. I never knew that it was going to be a political term. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have not believed you, but it's definitely no thanks to QAnon, MAGA, various people who have very strong belief systems in things that don't necessarily make sense. That's my definition of conspiracy theory. If you saw the promo that I did it was a learning channel, Discovery Channel, and Planet Green special called was that? Oh no, that wasn't Nostradamus. That one was Dan Brown's new book, oh gosh, my memory now. Anyways, I played the promo. Go look on my social doc balance on Instagram and you'll see that, or Facebook and LinkedIn, the Dan Brown book, Searching for the Lost Symbol. That's it, the lost symbol. And they asked me to do some expert commentary, and I talked about conspiracy theory. So that's why I wanted to talk about that today. It is a mental health matters in the sense that there's a lot of us right now that are in conflict with others, friends and family, because of the election, because of what happened. We don't talk about politics here because Hope and Happiness is my brand that transcends what party you're with or your BS, your belief systems. But I did want to answer the question because people have been asking me. I'm an organizational psychologist. And I'm grateful for trash pickup, and I'm grateful that I get to do this show from my home office. So I'm sorry if you're hearing some background, but hey, it's 88% fabulous. So I'm just trying to keep it from distracting me. The whole idea of conspiracy theory and why I want to talk about it today is people go, I don't understand how people could believe something like that. It makes no sense. It's not common sense. It's illogical. And I can't be with people who think that way. And it has caused lots of rifts, friends and family, relationships all around the board. And since this is Mental Health Monday Matters, and I know that relationships can help and hurt your mental health. If you're not having a good relationship with someone, it's not easy to be happy. And so that's why we're dealing with that topic today. And because it is Monday and Mental Health Monday, I get to give you a free audiobook copy of my #1 best-selling book, 8 Ways to Happiness. It's a national bestseller. Thank you, Amazon #1. And it's a self-help book on steroids. So you get the audiobook copy by going to my website. That's right there. You just use my assistant, Google Dr. Marissa or Asian Oprah, and you'll find it. Just put your email in there and I will send you the promo code for the book, because that's what I do on Mondays. I want to give away. I can't give away the book because Habitat for Humanity gets part proceeds, as you see on the back, but I can give the audio book as a donation to you. So if you'd like that, because you're tuning in on Monday, hit me up. All right. So where were we? We're going to take a quick station ID is what we're going to do. We just had breakfast. Thank you for joining me for breakfast, which is my good life habit, my #blisscipline of life. Because frankly, my dear, if you can't approve of yourself, how the fork do you expect anyone else to? And that's what we do when we have breakfast. Thanks for joining me. I promise if you do this for the next 28 consecutive days, with or without me on the morning show, you will sandwich your day in the most positive way. Thanks for joining me for breakfast. And now we're going to take a quick break for news, weather, and traffic on NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, the station that leaves no listener behind, home to the Asian Oprah, and #1 talk in the IE. Thank you very much. Don't go away. Chuck Woolery used to say, be back in 2 and 2. I say, peace it. Peace out.
Well, she has been dubbed the Asian Oprah, and she just wants all of us to be happy.
Doctor
Dr. Marissa, aka the Asian Oprah, says the most important thing you can choose is choosing to be happy.
You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa.
That's the idea for Dr. Marissa Pei's new book called 8 Ways to Be Happy.
Many of us say, I am my own worst critic. Nobody's harder on me than I am. And my response to that is, stop it. Why are you doing that to yourself? You have to be your biggest fan, because if you can't at the end of the day say, I did a good job, who is? We don't have to constantly be angry at the things that are wrong. Why don't we choose to be happy about things that are right? We have the choice. That's our muscle. And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced. Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Spreaker, and more. And of course, my show Central, which is my YouTube TV channel, which I'm so glad that you are tuned in. I see eyeballs in the studio. I see fingers giving me the finger, not that finger, this finger. And there's hearts to be had. And I love it when there's participation, because Lord knows I can, I can just go on and on and on, which I am super, super duper grateful. I just went and checked the analytics, and I'm not a big numbers. You know that I don't buy numbers. It's a compliment, but at the same time, it just drives me kind of crazy when people go, wow, I can't believe you don't have millions and da da da. And it's like, I don't judge myself by that. However, I do look at the numbers to see if people are getting something out of this. At least that's my measure of tuning in. And since we started here, I have now on my YouTube TV channel, it's 320,000 views. So I am very grateful for that. I can remember when my younger daughter, we were living in a little place in Seal Beach after the divorce, and I had this little section I made into a studio in the home, and I think it was on 7th Street. I'm trying to remember. It was like one of the few places that it was not on the beach that I stayed in. And I can remember very excitedly saying to my younger daughter, Sarah, your mom has 3,000 views. And she was so happy for me. And I just let her know that it's 320,000. She's very proud of me. And I'm very proud of y'all for choosing to tune in to something that is edifying, positive. I do not do political rhetoric. I do not do angry. I think I've maybe broke my rule of criticism maybe twice. And paid for it. But I truly have this intention. I have been able to, for the most part, live it out, to have this platform to talk about what's right with the world, what's right with you, what's good about everything and everyone. So right now, I'm going to launch into the topic. Those of you who missed the first part and are just tuning in on my AM 1050 FM 106.5 streaming everywhere, KCAA NBC News Radio, you'll know that we are, for Mental Health Matters Mondays, talking about conspiracy theory. And it's an odd topic in one sense, for why would that be something that is related to Mental Health Mondays? But the relationship is because I've heard this from many, many people. I don't understand how someone could believe as they do. I don't understand how people could make, I call it go to MSU University, making shiitake up, university that is like totally not based in fact or reality or all of that. And as a result of that reaction, there's a lot of unfriending. There's a lot of you're dead to me, cutting you out. And with the holidays coming, I am on this Operation Agree to Disagree. And hopefully by the end of today's show, you'll understand maybe a little more why people believe as they do. And this is actually an area that I was educated in. My doctorate, as Dr. Marissa, is not as an MD. I just love it. And people in an elevator, somebody will say, Dr. Marissa, and they'll go, oh, I have this thing on my elbow. Not that kind of a doctor. I'm a PhD, which just stands for piled higher and deeper, in organization psychology. Some people call it OD now, organization development, because they overdose. No, organizational psychology is what my degree is in. When we study and consult in and educate and help people understand human dynamics at work. And one of the things that we do talk about is called groupthink. And those of you who remember the Bay of Pigs, it's a classic case study example of groupthink in action. And it doesn't make sense how people can ignore the truth or data or just the cold hard facts of something. Why would people actually not take warnings of a missile coming in as all the signs are there, everything, all the indications are there, and yet you just don't pay attention to that? There's a lot of criticism on any kind of gun violence where people say, you should have known, the signs were there. Why wouldn't you have paid attention? Why didn't you respond early? And I'm not saying it's the whole reason. I'm not saying it's the whole reason why certain political parties are as strong as they are, because they don't make decisions based on what the data shows. But I'm not here to criticize any party. I am here to help us understand why we may be so divided, and in an effort to do that, not so you can be further divided, but I really, 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 really know that part of my Happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years, is completely and totally about how do we get back to agree to disagree. And why is this important? Because we are a democracy, and we're not like some countries where if you don't agree with me, I'm going to kill you. And we're not there yet, although Capitol Hill was a little scary. But the fact that people are talking about moving away or succeeding or, afraid to fly over middle America or, wanting to, I've had so many people ask me, are you going to reactivate your Canadian citizenship? No, I chose to be American at the time. It was the first group after 9/11. So I did give up my Canadian citizenship. And no, I'm not moving back to Canada. This is my country. I chose it. And we are the United States, even though it doesn't look that way. And we're bigger than our political differences. And we do have systems in place. And yes, it might look scary, but I don't live in fear. Fear stands for future events already ruined. Do you really want to live where you're afraid all the time? If you're anxious all the time, if you're worried all the time, you've heard this before from me, you're going to make yourself sick, because our cells and our immune system are directly influenced by our emotions. And when we're in that level of heightened stress, we're going to get sick and we're going to make ourselves sick. And on top of that, law of attraction, the more you focus on something, the bigger it's going to get. So that's why we're doing this today. Hopefully, it'll give you a little ability to take a breath, step back and go, oh, okay. So, and I'll give you the first one is that I talked about groupthink. So we'll start there. So groupthink is a phenomena, and I'll do this as a professor. I have to get it exactly right. Let's see what Webster says is, the definition. There we go. The definition of groupthink. So I'm going to put it in here. This is one of the things I love about my show and about StreamYard. I can actually share with you what I am looking at. So we're going to do real time. Groupthink is a psychological phenomenon in which people strive for consensus within a group. In many cases, people will set aside their own personal beliefs and adopt the opinions of the rest of the group. It was first used in 1972 by a social psychologist, Irving. Let's see. I like Wikipedia as well. So, I'll go with, actually I should go with, but I enjoy Wikipedia because it does try to be objective and non-biased. Let's see, William H. White giving kudos and credit where it's due. So it's a dysfunctional decision-making phenomena. So let's just start with that. So it is tied to very much, momentum of a group and, whether or not you want to be part of that group, whether or not there's strong people in that group. So it is definitely a thing that happens if you think about, let's see, where am I going here? If you think about, when you've been part of a decision making and you're really not sure which way it is, and then somebody makes a very strong argument that may not even be based on the truth, may not, but you're there and you are influenced by their forcefulness, and then more and more people agree with them, and then soon, like, you don't want to be the odd one out, and so you agree as well, even though it goes against every part of you. So that's groupthink as a description. And I can totally see how some of that is happening in social media. Someone will put out there a strong statement, and if you don't have a view on it, you are influenced. That's why media is so dangerous. There's no such thing as unbiased news. Everyone has a bias. Even you have a bias. You may not be aware of it, but there are extreme biases. I remember looking up something, wanting to know a definition, and I went to a site that was so biased that and therein lies the conspiracy theory. If you're strong enough in the presentation of what you believe in, even when it's not based in data, you can absolutely be persuaded to think that way. And then the more people think that way, then groupthink comes in because it is just so strong. And I'm looking for something right now that I've used in the past. I apologize if this is not updated. I got this a while back, but I encourage you, anytime you hear something, I get this all the time. This is a side note. Let's look at this first, and then I'll tell you. So left, center, right. So I almost always try to, before I share anything, before I talk about anything, before I pass anything on, before I forward anything, I will use my assistant Google, one, to say, is this a scam? Is it true? What's the data? And I certainly will go to this middle column. NPR, I love, BBC, Reuters. I want, as much as possible, an unbiased account of whatever's going on. Okay. And please, if you're a person that passes on those, I don't know if it's true or not, we'll find out before you pass it on. Warning, on my social media, and people are getting to know not to send me those things until they've done a fact check or a scam check. That's the good news about Google and all the information on the internet. I know it's not all true, but at least you can get a sense that other people have investigated. There are groups that do these kinds of fact checks. So please don't send me anything until you've done that fact check. All right. So groupthink is a phenomena. Another phenomena I want to address, and I think I brought it up before, but it bears repeating, is called the Pygmalion effect. And the power of the Pygmalion effect is so strong that most people are unaware of the power of their own BS, the power of their own belief system. And I use this as a funny joke. It's borderline not politically correct, but it's the strongest way I know to illustrate the power of the Pygmalion effect. And it's Pygmalian. And I use it all the time when I consult or I educate or I teach or I do a talk. Because when you are sure about something and you have the data to back it up, that will influence the way you see any new situation. And because this is radio, TV, I'm not going to bring up the slide that I sometimes do, where you remember the old woman and the young woman. Most people took the general psych will remember that. It is such a strong illustration of, if you really want to see something, you will see it. So let me use the example of driving on the freeway. And if you know, or you buy into the stereotype that women drivers that look like me are bad drivers, and that's not me, but I've heard that stereotype. And if you really, 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 really believe that, and they've done studies on this, and two people will cut you off at the exact same time, and the other person is not. Let's say, for example, they're an older white woman or male, and then the Asian woman, female. Okay, if they both cut you off at the exact same time, you won't see the other driver. You will only see what validates your BS, your belief system. That is the power of Pygmalion effect. Give you another example. If you have, this happens to parents, you have one child who is this and one child who is that. It happens at work. If you're a supervisor, a manager, a director, or a leader, and you have one encounter with someone, or maybe two encounters, and you make a judgment about them, that label, even if you see data that doesn't support that, you can't see that data. So, for example, I have one daughter who I used to, just drives me crazy as far as her disorganization, let's just put it that way. And even when she's organized, I can't see that, because in my mind, my BS belief system about her disorganization is so strong that I can't let data in that says she is organized. So it's a very powerful, it's a little bit scary how strong this phenomena is. The power of the mind, power of your belief systems. That's part of the law of attraction, why it's so important to be very careful what you're thinking about. Because what you are focused on will grow bigger. What you're focused on will change or not change your BS, your belief system. So there's so many parts of this. I'm going to pause for a second so I can let my mouth catch up with my mind. And if you're just tuned in and hearing what's going on in studio today, this is Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, the station that leaves no listener behind. And number one talk in the IE, thanks to you all. Thank you very much. And it is also home of a place where you can park your negativity and learn how to balance it out with some positiveness. Because frankly, my dear, it feels better and you will help your health. And it is Mental Health Monday Matters. We've been talking about the power of our mind, the power of Pygmalion effect, the groupthink, all these real, whether you believe them or not. It only happens when you're human, and it helps you understand why someone would believe as they do. So if you're a person who shakes your head and just says things like, but it's common sense, and you're using that to judge the other group, person, party, whatever it is, then I would say first, common sense is uncommon. And number two, you believe in your common sense as strongly as they do, right or wrong. It's not even a right or wrong. It is we've gotten to the point where the two cannot coexist in the same place. And that's the thing that scares me. That's the thing that is why I do what I'm doing and speak as I'm speaking, because we have to get to the understanding that their BS belief system is just as important to them. And one of the reasons why they may be believing something that doesn't make any sense is because of groupthink. It could be because of Pygmalion effect. It could be because they have just as strong, passionate way. Their gears are working in a different way than you are. And certainly conspiracy theory is a great, perfect example of Pygmalion effect and groupthink. So even though it is not grounded in reality in your mind, doesn't mean that for other people, and I'm not saying which side is which, I'm just saying that it does make sense to me. I don't like it, but it makes sense to me because you cannot let in any belief system that is different than what you believe. That's the power. It's not that old expression, I'll believe it when I see it. I may be dating myself, but trust me, millennials, this was a big expression that was lived by, right? I'll believe it when I see it, which is another way of saying, show me, right? Show me the money, show me the proof, and then I'll believe it. Give me the data. Show me the data. Give me the numbers. I'm not going to believe you until you demonstrate and prove it to me, right? So that's the old adage. Because of Pygmalion effect, because of BS, the power of belief system, because of groupthink, it's really, I'll see it because I believe it. That's the power of our mindsets. That's the power of our BS belief systems. And that's why I'm talking about this right now, is we got to get to a place where we're not unfriending, name calling, ostracizing, separating, not going to holidays together now because of political belief systems, because that's going to get us to a world where we are so divided that that hate turns into violence, that violence turns into dictatorship, that dictatorship turns into just a non-United States. So now you understand why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this, and I grappled with this. I got a lot of criticism for not using this platform to promote one party and one presidential candidate. And I grappled with that because a lot of, my honorable moniker, Oprah. By the way, I was introduced to Oprah as the Asian Oprah. I did not give that name to myself. For those of you who think whatever you think, it doesn't matter anyways, but did that sound defensive? She did make a stand. A lot of people made a stand. And I, on Monday, when it was the day before election, I really had a tough time. And then the day after the election, I had a tough time. But I was reminded that my Hope and Happiness brand that I've been doing for here on the air, on camera for 655 consecutive weeks, but who's counting, is bigger than, is higher than, is more important than politics. So Hope and Happiness, which I believe, I'm not saying that I necessarily agree. I don't, but I do believe that everybody, that we will get to world peace when, that peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace, if we can all find a way to agree to disagree. And you don't have to agree with someone whose politics you really hate, but can we put that aside and remember that our relationships are more important than that? We don't have to go to that place of, because you believe differently, you're stupid, you're crazy, you don't have common sense. Because hopefully you're going to remember Pygmalion effect, which says that people believe certain things to the strength of what they believe so strongly that they cannot let information in that disproves what they believe. And ergo, conspiracy theory is born. So hopefully that will allow you to practically not talk about it. I'm even debating now to go back because, I've been swiping and I've been automatically swiping left when I see conservative. I'm not saying that. I think apolitical is probably a good thing, because not that I don't have strong beliefs, but I think that you can have a relationship, and I have a co-host who is absolutely opposite to me. And if you had told me I'd have a co-host that had BS belief systems that were on the other end, I would have said, no, that's not possible. Or that I would have friends. I have family members who are on the other side. And how we love each other. We remember that we love each other, that transcends politics. And hopefully y'all have that same BS, that your love for your family member, for your friend, whose relationships were built so long ago with so many positive things and so many positive memories and so many ways in which you did mesh and connect, and it was beautiful, that we would just throw all of that away because of the election. It's sad. And I'm hoping that what I'm saying is resonating somewhere. Let it sit. You may have, well, I saw some of you just can't accept that from me, and that's okay. That's okay. But I'll be here holding open and holding up #UP unlimited possibilities, that we will be able to I'm not all for going backwards, but I remember a place when we were able to agree to disagree, no matter what, because what's the most important thing is love. What the most important thing is loving ourselves enough not to live in hate and not to live in constant anxiety and worrying and all of that. So I'm hoping that this is a seed is planted. So you may not want to drink this Kool-Aid right now, but it might percolate on you. This is Dr. Marissa. We'll be back in 2 and 2. We need to take station ID break for news and weather and traffic, but don't go away. We'll be right back. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from my living room. Don't go away. It is Mental Health Matters Mondays, and we'll do a wrap up for this show. Thanks for joining me. Be back in 2 and 2. Chuck Woolery. Peace in, peace out.
Welcome to Balanced Tai Chi Gong. My name is Dr. Marissa Pei. For the next 28 minutes, we will be slow dancing with the universe in a moving meditation that promotes inner peace, one breath at a time. Just follow the sound of my voice and move with me as I guide you through this ancient wisdom through New Thought practice. As a corporate psychologist, I created this practice in response to my life and those of my clients. We were professional, high achievement-oriented, multitasking control freaks and exhausted. No matter how many successes, it was never enough. That, coupled with a painful life experience, led me on a quest to find another way to live and back to my Chinese roots. If you practice regularly, I can promise you that it will impact all health vortexes. Body, mind, spirit, soul. You will be in a place of balance and inner peace the way we were created. 谢谢.
Be my partner.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course, my show Central, my YouTube TV channel that houses all 1,200 and what are we on now? 70. That's going to come up on the banner in a second. 71 shows. I was doing podcast shows before they started calling them podcasts, and it is consecutive week 655. So glad that you're here. So glad that you're tuned in. Those of you who are not driving, you can always come and say hello on my YouTube TV channel live every weekday morning at 9 a.m. Right after the NBC News. And I'm so delighted that you are here joining me. I see eyeballs in the studio. If you can, not while you're driving, say hello, question, comment, anything. I'm always open to including and responding and just trying to make your life happier than it is maybe right now. That is our birthright, to be happy. 88% of the time. Someone asked me yesterday, why not 100%? Why only 88? Well, if you're 100% happy, you're dead. I don't want dead people watching, talking. Instead, you need the contrast. So that's why it's not 100% happy. And if you think you're 100% happy, you're fooling yourself. 88% happy, I say that number because As perfectionists, we want 99%, and it's not possible to even be 99. 88 is the majority of the time, and 8 is a lucky number in Chinese. Those of you thought I was Swedish, I'm actually Chinese, and 8 is a homophone for good fortune. So I pick 88 because it's double good fortune. So glad you're here today, since it is Monday, Mental Health Matters Mondays. You get a free audiobook copy of my #1 best-selling book called 8 Ways to Happiness, the audiobook version. And you just go to drmarissa.life, put your email in the place where it asks for email, and I'll know it is Mondays. You get that free audiobook copy worth $20. Also, I'll do a little commercial. Any of you who would like a really great present for this holiday season, I think I have 5 left for anyone who wants a signed copy for your loved one who isn't as happy as they want to be. It's a workbook, self-help on steroids. That is a gift idea. I just put the promo up for Balanced Tai Chi Gong, which is a moving meditation that promotes inner peace, one breath at a time. There's downloads for $20 donation to my nonprofit. Also, for the holidays, that's a great gift idea. I also have a children's book, and I just sent that out with my Happy Zine newsletter for Thanksgiving. Those of you who didn't get that and want that, go sign up on my website and you'll get that. I need to send out the promo code. I forgot to put that on there. So if you're listening and you're wondering how to get that free gift for being part of my Happy 88 tribe, just I don't want to have to send a follow-up, but I did get like over 50% open click rate. So that's good. Maybe I'll just send another one out. And the promo code, you get a free PDF download of Mommy, What Are Feelings? And it is a beautiful book, if I do say so myself, because my daughters put let's see if I have it. Oh, I do have it over there. There's one non-PDF version left. It is a book about feelings that allows you to help your kids. If you're a parent who was told don't feel growing up and you want to teach your kids how to feel, this is the book. And you can see every feeling has a taste, touch, sound, and sight. So this is mad. And I think this was drawn by Chloe, the older one, but it rhymes and it says, Mommy, what is mad? Mad looks like the angry red tomato. Mad sounds like a very big note. Mad feels like a burning hot stove. And mad tastes like a spicy chili. Oh, and this is a place they can draw on the PDF. It's there as well. So that's a $20 donation. It's a great gift idea. Of course, if you want it free, go sign up on my email list. That's the gift. So, and free subscribe on my YouTube channel. And that way, I just expand my Happy 88 tribe. And I'm so grateful that this book has been recognized by parents and by autism organizations, because every feeling has a taste, touch, sight, and sound, if you notice that on the rhyme. So I'm very, very, very grateful that there's a lot of moms out there who just love that book and tell me that it's their kid's favorite. They just want that book read over, and over. So final word. This holiday season, well, all the time, but let's just start with this holiday season. If you are one of us who have cut ties and lost friendships, are not going to go to a holiday gathering because of politics and the election, I would ask you to go over the concepts that I talked about, and hopefully you can set aside by understanding how people get to the belief systems they do and can get back to the place to agree to disagree. We have a rule in my bonus family. We just don't talk about it. We just don't talk about it. Same thing with my co-host. We just don't talk about it. And I know that seems like avoidance. There's so many things you can talk about. There's so many good things you can focus on. Why do we have to make this the thing that divides us? I know it's tied to a lot of other things, but can you really affect what it is you want to affect by holding it as a protective, angry weapon against your friends and family? So my answer is no. So with that, I'm going to say it's all about balance. It really is all about balance. And I know that this is a uncomfortable topic, but I really hope that you take it to heart, because I know that in everyone's heart is love. At the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, in the fullness of the day, we are all love. We come from love. We go back into love. And that's why Operation Agree to Disagree. On my happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. Tune in tomorrow, my Tuesday talent, the guy that I swiped, who's a stand-up comic. Very interesting way of doing comedy. He's what's his tagline? He's depressed about comedy or something like that. He has clinical depression, and he has found a way to make his whole sketch very meaningful and funny at the same time. So Aaron Foster's coming in tomorrow. Don't miss that. Then Wednesday, we have Doctors in the House. Thursday, Straight Talk, and Friday, the Hollywood Rebel Report. So keep it here all week, coming at you. It's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow.